Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. We are Moses Restorations. I am Jennifer Moses, my husband is Matt Moses, and together we own and operate Moses Restorations, where we refinish furniture for others and to sell, and we share our tips and tricks along the way on our social media platforms. The way we work is that my husband does this full-time. He does a majority of the actual refinishing, and I do this part-time. I am a part-time pediatric OR nurse, and on my off days, I help him with the actual refinishing things, but I also run our social media platforms. I come up with the ideas of the colors and things like that of the furniture that comes in that we're going to sell. I do the staging and photos. So I say part-time, but it's more than a part-time hours. So that is why you are here, and that is why he is not here, is because this video is all about how we grew our following to 103,000 followers on Instagram and some things that we did that I believe helped get us to that point. So the first thing we did is we did our research. We started by following others that were in our niche, which is furniture refinishing. We looked and studied them, like what drew us in, and if something drew us in, that's something that we wanted to implement in our own social media. We also customized our explore page. So we started following people who were in our niche, and we started following hashtags so that we were constantly bombarded with things that were in our niche, and we could see what was getting the most likes, what they were doing, and how could we implement that. This way you're learning what is the algorithm liking. Now this is not just like a learn it and then you're done, you've figured out your thing and you're done. The algorithm is always changing. Trends are always changing. So this is something that you're always going to have to be on top of and evolve along with the Instagram business. Another thing is that we researched who was following us. So there's a great thing that is already on your Instagram is the insights. So the insights looks like a little graph on your profile, and you can see the demographic of the people who are following you. You can see their age range, you can see if they're male or female, and you can see what area of the country or even the world that they are in. So that way you kind of know who your target audience is. So if you have a younger audience, you want to do more of the trending things that the younger audience is in for. If you have an older demographic, you want to kind of stick to the things that they knew and that they like. Another thing is to study your stories. So your stories are a great way of engaging with your followers and really learning from them. So you can see that if you are keeping the same amount of followers from one story to the next, you're doing a good job. You're keeping them engaged and they are waiting to see what you're doing next. If you're losing 100 people from one story to the next, you may want to look at things of what you're doing and why you're losing that audience. Are you doing something that's completely out of your niche that people aren't interested? They're following you because you're in that niche, or are you not engaging with them? Things like that. You can really learn from one story to the next and use your stories as a good research on your insights. Another thing that we learned very quickly is that people actually want to get to know you. They don't want to just see the pictures of your niche, they want to see the person behind them. When we were a little bit more camera shy, we weren't really gaining the followers at a quick pace, but when we actually started showing ourselves, talking and engaging with our followers, we really started to see an increase in followers. So they want to learn about you, and a great way to do that is doing polls and questions and things like that in your Instagram and your Reels. And another way that this is really good and engaging is because your followers want to tell you about themselves. Everyone has big opinions on things like when is the appropriate time to listen to Christmas music or start decorating for Christmas music. Putting up a real tree versus a fake tree. This is a great way to get some engagement from your followers by putting things like that up in your stories. And this is also a really good way of learning from your followers what they like and what you should try to include more of. During the summer, I did a mom hack series because we were about to go to the beach, and I asked our followers for their hacks and got so much engagement. That was a really good thing that we found that we did. So going off of that, you've learned about your followers, but you don't want to, and you've learned what they like, but you don't want to change into something that you're not. You want to stay true to yourself, because if you're trying to be someone else, it is definitely going to show through the screen. For instance, Matt was very uncomfortable talking on stories, and it showed. We were losing followers from one slide to the next. He didn't feel comfortable, and it was very obvious. So we had to pivot, and we had to figure out that, okay, we can show more of him working and put up some little captions and subtitles and polls, things like that. So we're still getting the engagement. We're still connecting because they're seeing him work. He's still engaging with them by talking to them, but it's through captions, and he feels a whole lot more comfortable actually doing the work and having that being filmed. We are also pretty conservative Christians, so our music is going to reflect that. We don't want to put any music onto our things that has any curse words or a negative message. Going on to music, you're going to look for music that matches the style of what you are putting out. And music does a really good job of adding to that feel that you're trying to create. Another good thing about the Explore page is that at the very bottom, you can see an arrow pointing up that indicates a trending audio. So those are going to be good things to think about as a trending song when picking it, but also make sure that you're looking at your demographic and seeing if that's going to be something that they like. Okay, now that you've done all of the research, now it is time to film. As you've learned from your own research and your Explore page, you have figured out what it is that draws you in and keeps you watching a reel or a story or a post. And now you know what it is that you can do to create that, and what we call it a hook. So another good thing is like putting a little text up on the very beginning of your video saying things like, wait for it, or couldn't believe the end of this, or did I ruin this dresser? Like, those are some really good things that are like going to catch you in. Music can also help do that. If it's a trending song that everyone's liking at the moment, that's going to keep them, like, get their attention really quick. Something with a good beat. One thing that we like to do is the before and afters. We have a slow music and then that beat drops and it changes to the after. That's a really good way of drawing people in. So now that you have got their attention with the hook, now you have to keep their attention. So some ways that we do that are changing the camera angles to keep it feeling like it's a new thing that we're watching. Lately, we all have very short attention spans. If it's not getting us immediately, we're going on to the next one. So if you've caught their attention, you have to keep it. So what we like to do is just do like 2 to 3 seconds per angle and per clip. Another thing that we do is we have closed captions, because some people, if you're not catching people with the audio, they're like in a waiting room or something and they're just scrolling their phone. Having closed captions or some text saying kind of what you're doing is a good way to keep their attention. Music can help keep them with like certain beat drops, with certain camera angle changes. That's a good way to keep them involved. It gives it a more cinematic feel and a more professional look to your reels. Don't only do before and afters. Don't only do start to finish on products. Don't only do carousel posts. Try to get a variety of different things, like having a combination of the 3 so that you can see what your followers are liking, what's getting the most engagement. Sometimes we may not have as many likes on a certain reel, but we will have a ton of comments, and vice versa. Sometimes we will have no comments, but a ton of likes. So it's good to kind of look and study and figure out what is doing the best and having a combination of all of it, because, you know, sometimes having a lot of likes is good, and sometimes having a lot of comments is good. Both are good things, and it's good to have them both in your arsenal. Now that you have learned your niche, you've learned your audience, you've studied what looks good, and you've created a great post, now people are going to click on you to see your profile and to see if they want to follow you. So the first thing they're going to see is your profile picture. This is currently a picture of Matt and I. We tried having it with just our logo, which is this, on it, and we really thought that it gave it a more personal feel to have the 2 of us on there. It's all about engagement. Next, under that, you want to make sure that your profile name is something that tells everyone exactly what you are, and underneath it says who you are, what you do. You're trying to grab their attention real quick to give them a summary of what you do and why they should follow you. They're also going to take a quick look at your feed. So one thing that we have made sure that we do is that when you scroll our feed and you have all that grid of what we're about, we wanted all beautiful pictures, the after pictures. I know that some people will have their first thing as a before picture, but we really wanted to have a clean, tailored, professional look. So we kind of put that into consideration as we are putting together our reels as to what our cover photo for each reel or each post is. You want to make sure that everything goes together, but you want to make sure that everything looks a little bit different, so it's not just a clone. So for us, we do a lot of dressers. We want to make sure that we don't have the exact same thing on every single dresser. We want to show that we have more of a modern, clean, aesthetic feel to our dressers, but we want to change up the decor so that it doesn't feel like you're looking at the exact same dresser over and over and over. They're also going to look at your highlight reels. So one good thing is to have like an about me, before and afters, testimonials, which are just reviews of people who we have refinished furniture from, and they have left us 5-star reviews on Google. And so we will put a picture of the work we did along with their review on it. And that way, any potential customers who look at it will see the kind of work that we do and how happy people are with our product. So I hope this video helped you figure out what you can do to increase your following, and if this helped you at all, please hit that like button and subscribe. We do a lot of furniture flipping and give you tips and tricks along the way, and we would love to have you along for the ride. Thank you.